You are now listening to PODCORN, episode 14, for July 3rd, 2013.
You can have my Mustang, that's all I've got in my name. But Jesus Christ, don't break my heart. This wedding ring won't ever wipe off. But if you stay, oh if you stay, you'll probably leave later anyway. It's love made in the USA.
Hey everybody, this is our PODCORN podcast with AmyReeder and BMontclare.
Amy said right before we started recording, let's get it done.
Yeah, Brandon likes to do warm-ups and then he likes to do outtakes and then he just doesn't work with me.
You don't do outtakes. Outtakes are a natural byproduct of, the biz, as
Yeah,
they say.
except when you don't work with me. Work with me here. Anyway.
Big news today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Yes. So
It's actually tomorrow that we're, because we're recording on Monday, but the news will be Tuesday. But
exactly.
they're hearing it Wednesday.
Rocket Girl.
Today.
Yes. Okay, got it. Rocket Girl
is
being published by Image.
It
Image
is?
Comics. Yes.
Wow, that is big news.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we did it with Halloween Eve, but we're pretty excited, you know what I mean? Like, these are good people. It's good to be associated with Image, I would have to say.
Yeah, it was a tough decision.
Yeah, it really was.
Some other really nice offers were made. And I don't mean nice like I'm twirling my mustache and counting gold chips or something. I mean, it was, we had more time. When we did Halloween Eve, everything was so rushed. Mm-hmm. And Image Comics came through so fast and bent over backwards to make it happen.
Yeah.
And this time there was more time, so there was some more offers, but,
Yeah. So,
Image did right by us before, and they really are such an exciting place to be.
Yeah, it's great to have so much control, too, Means a lot to me personally. And it's a good deal.
Yeah, and the control goes beyond just creative control, You can control kind of how you price things, how you, other incentives, and kind of, sell it into the market. But,
Yeah. So, it's really super cool.
Yeah.
And the first issue is going to be, we said October before, but now we've got a date. October 9th.
October 9th.
Yeah.
10, 9, then it's like 13. So
Yeah, that's not that cool.
Yeah.
Before New York Comic Con.
It is a year to the day of Halloween Eve if years were counted by conventions instead of months.
What? Really?
Well, last year it came out before Comic-Con.
Did it come out 10/10 last year?
I think so.
I think that's it. Yeah.
But my point was it came out the day before New York Comic-Con.
I see. Yeah, it was. So that's the case again. Jeez, it's going to be a lot of work for us. But it was pretty fun last year. It made New York Comic Con super busy, and we were also fulfilling a bunch of Kickstarter orders, but we still managed to get everything to everybody on time. So that's good.
Yeah, between now and New York Comic Con, you're doing Boston, and I'll probably go with you.
Yes.
And we're both going to be in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, excited. I haven't been to San Diego for like maybe 3 years or something. I miss it. I mean, I know people say it's too crowded and stuff, but I don't mind.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff there, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that.
But Image, we're in pretty good company.
Yes. We got those nice Saga people working there.
Yeah, it's an okay book.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new stuff announced, though. Matt Fraction doing stuff over there. Recently, Mark Miller, Frank Whiteley. Ed Brubaker doing a ton of stuff.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good to be a part of.
Straczynski, a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
Howard Chaykin.
Yeah. Name drop.
Well, it's like our publisher would name drop him.
Yeah.
What do you think, creator? You're an established creator. You can get work at Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do creator-owned. Everyone says it.
Yeah.
I get it. Do you think fans don't get it? Some fans.
Oh, it depends. I would say I often get people asking me, when am I gonna do a Marvel book, or when am I gonna go back to DC, or even like the biggest question that sounds like what you're describing would be, who do you really wish you could draw? Because that assumes that I'd rather draw something that I didn't create.
Right.
And it also assumes that it'd be a big name character.
No, of course, because I think it's because it's contextualized for the fans. I think it's like, oh, who would you really want to draw? Oh, Rocket Girl. Oh, but not that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of, I have a hard time with that because usually I like the obscure ones, which we made a podcast about before.
Right.
But I guess I always return to Wonder Woman. But
Do you think it's hard though? You think Rocket Girl? Because as a writer, I could do a Marvel or DC book and still do Rocket Girl, but you know, Rocket Girl's it for you.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be it. Yeah.
You think it's hard to connect with fans sometimes on that stuff? It's like, because Batwoman has such a fandom.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm lucky enough, and maybe this is true for most artists, but I'm lucky enough that what I like is what my fans like. Probably because they like me. You know what I mean? So it's like they like me not because I fit into the mold. It's because I don't fit into the mold. So, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know.
And how do you expand that audience though, as opposed to, you could say, oh, I'm going to work on Spider-Man, and so I'll get some new readers, and maybe they'll like my stuff and follow me along. But
yeah,
how do you expand? How do you you created it, so you must be able to expand.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
collect new
so far
readers.
I've mostly expanded by the exposure I got through DC, right? So there is a need for me to expand in other ways. Kickstarter helps. I mean, Kickstarter is such a great publicity tool. I mean, to me, that's probably the most important element about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's quality. I think when you really make something good, I like to believe this, that people are just gonna, if you get them to really care about something, then they're gonna want to tell other people about it. I have things like that I just have to tell everybody about, so it's all about buzz, and you can get that in different ways, but you can garner a lot of buzz if you just put out quality. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. There's also just being prolific, which I have to work on, and that's going to be my plan in the future. I really want to get my speed up because I feel like I've improved a lot lately, and I feel like it's about time that allow myself to speed up a little bit.
Yeah, some creators will adjust their style or approach, but not you. It's very, because I mean, first of all, you want to ink and color and letter, and always your last project that you did is your best project and super detailed. It's tough because a lot of times people do creator-owned books. Even established people, even Frank Miller, I'll adjust my style to stay on the shelf. Or Mike Mignola, I will select collaborators, But, I mean, I say, is there pressure? But no, because you couldn't do work if it wasn't meticulous,
I don't know. Here, I'm adjusting on this, like, because I'm starting to really like certain people's styles that maybe are detailed, but the rendering isn't as, like, perfectionist, you know what I mean? And I feel like it looks better for it. It's not like a dip in quality or anything. So I'm actually trying to focus on that. I'm also starting to just get better at sketching, where the actual sketches look good. Before it was always like that things didn't look good until they were done. So that's kind of allowed me to be able to play around a little more, and I feel like it's going to change my style. Very small, by a very small amount.
I mean, do you mean...
But...
do you mean limited to like the layout stage? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can go fat. You're better at sketching. Is that... Well, I can think of a page and put it down faster and spend less time in the planning stages, or
it's
does it affect
a little bit
the
about that,
finish?
but it affects the finish because then suddenly...
So it's not at all about the layouts. It's just about the finish?
Yeah, it's the... it's the fact that I don't need the finish to prove the layouts anymore. It's kind of hard to explain, but like my hand's just a lot freer, I think. There's a lot more confidence in it. And I need to learn to trust that. Like sometimes I get guilty if I get faster. I'm like, oh, no, I must be doing something wrong. I must be, slacking off in some way or something like that. And I'm realizing, no, I actually am getting faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a certain thing, and sometimes it works against you, right? Where it's I will take as much time as I'm allowed.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not going to let a deadline you're not going to sacrifice quality for a deadline. And if you're maybe working for yourself, you want to get books out, but it's you could just forever draw the same thing, the same panel, you know what I mean, the same figure.
Yeah.
I always credit this to Kaluta, right? Because I heard it from him, but he might have been stealing it from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Kaluta. Either Kaluta or Wrightson. I'm sorry to conflate them, but I've said it before. Every artist needs to be two. Every piece of art needs two artists. One to create it and one to take it away from the one creating it. And I think the point was I will noodle it forever and ever until it's perfect, unless somebody else takes it away from me.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm like that.
No, but you're retreating from maybe where you were once like that, or you're partially like that.
I'm just starting to see the art in the underneath. Like, I don't know. I look at people's sketches, right? I look at people's art that they give me for portfolios and stuff. And I find that I'm focusing a lot more on whether there's talent underneath it all. A lot less on how much time they spent on it, and a lot more on, are they doing it right? You know what I mean?
Well, you would have fought tooth and nail if someone said, hey, the best picture is the one that the best cartoon is the one that conveys the story in the least amount of lines. You're not there yet. But you understand it better? Not to get you combative.
Actually, I feel less like that. I know that everybody talks about Alex Toth, and I think that that's just one way to draw.
No, I know, and that's you being contrary, but you're kind of saying
No, because right now, like, it's the opposite. I've learned, and this is the advice that I give a lot of artists, like, I work with them on how to sketch, because I feel like a lot of times that's what they're doing wrong, is they're just sketching wrong. And you have to really free yourself up and draw a whole bunch of, like, squiggly lines until you arrive at the final product so that you're not committed to anything. Alex Toth is the opposite. Alex Toth can just do like 3 lines and it ends up looking good. That's the work of a genius. That's not the work of somebody who can learn how to do things right.
Yeah, but that's, a talent. I don't know. I don't know his process. But it doesn't mean he arrived, just because you see 3 lines doesn't mean that that's the only 3 lines he ever put down. You know what I mean?
So do you think that when he sketches that it's messy?
I have absolutely no clue, but I assume that there is a revision process because his stuff is so effective,
Yeah, maybe so.
Or at least a growth process that required revision. And he's not the only one in the world. I mean, you could look at Matt Wagner, and a lot of guys get simpler,
Yeah, they do.
I mean, Mazzucchelli gets simpler, like I said, Matt Wagner gets simpler.
See, yeah. For me, it's more that I don't want the lines to have to be perfect, so I'm kind of wanting to move in the opposite direction. Some of you guys have probably watched this guy Jong Gi on the online. He's like this artist who's really good at drawing fisheye angle, and he draws all these details. But if you actually look at all the details, they're just squiggly lines with like a wrought ring pen or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, like he just the line is less, there's less emphasis on it because the whole is right. So it's actually like the opposite of Alex Toth. Other examples would include like that Glyn Dillon guy who that we did
I still insist his name is Glyn and he's just being fancy.
Maybe. I don't but yeah, like he's another example of somebody who doesn't have straight lines, but there's details. I like the idea of realism underneath it all and just not needing the lines to be perfectly smooth. Another one, and this guy does really straight lines, But I still think that when you look closely, it's not all about perfection, even though it looks awesome, even if you look closely. And that would be Sean Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, you look at it and it's like really artistic when you look at the lines, but they're not, like, if you look at my lines, they're super duper deliberate, where like everything is just supposed to make you see the real final product instead of the art of the line. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not really explaining this right, but yeah, I don't know, I don't think that the Alex Toth style is for everybody. Maybe, though, I'm just young and I don't understand.
Well, I think that's what they always say. You grow into less is more, and that doesn't mean you have to end with Alex Toth. You know, I don't think he's the be all end all. You know, I mean, I think he's just an example of simplification, right?
Yeah.
But
When I sketch now, I like to just do scribble spots. Like if I'm doing a face.
what about amazingly good artists, right? Who are excessively detailed. A lot of times you see not great artists too detailed. What about Travis Charest? You know.
What about him? He's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but drawing every hair and you know what I mean. It's not less is more with Travis Charest.
I still think that Travis Charest is good without the finish. You know, if he did all
They're
that
all
stuff,
good, you know.
no, but if he did all that stuff with squiggly lines, it would look just as awesome.
So why doesn't he? Not that you've ever met him or have any idea.
Because he can't let go. It's like me, you know, hoping I can one day, but yeah, he can't let go. It's hard for some people, you know. It's like some sort of form of OCD. When I draw, I want to show you something. I don't want it to, like, a lot of times it's hard for me to turn it into lines, you know? Even though that's just the opposite of what I just said. But like when I draw a face, it's not like brush strokes or anything like that. It's just a face. I want you to feel it, you know what I mean? I want you to have the texture. I want it to feel concrete and tactile. So, I don't know. There's different ways to do things. The problem with Travis Charest is just he needs to produce more, in a lot of people's opinions, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, the level of detail isn't what stops someone from producing. You know what I mean? So it's
sometimes it is, because it feels so overwhelming that you just don't even want to start.
Maybe.
You know? You kind of dread it. That's part of why you can't let go and why you have to render things all the way to the end of it, is that you're a little bit afraid of what you're drawing.
Shane Davis is a friend of ours, and he says sometimes he has to kind of keep topping himself with detail because he thinks it's an expectation of his fan base.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I can totally empathize. And people say I'm not detailed, which is always like offensive to me. But yeah, you know, like I think I mean, I'm not as detailed as Shane, but yeah, no, I can totally understand that. Like that's a stress that I have a lot when I'm drawing for myself. But I guess like for me it's nice cuz I do all these con sketches and I'm getting better at them finally. Like I just do free headshots and stuff.
At conventions, people come up and say, "Hey, I'd like you to draw
Batgirl or something." And yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where I've created a new kind of process that I've had to force myself to do at conventions. And people really like what I come up with sometimes. And sometimes I look at it and I like it. And it's kind of freed me up. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's just kind of like having to trust yourself and draw what you think looks good instead of being horrified by how other people are going to react to it.
Is it, I mean, you know, and I'm not, this isn't lip service. You love and appreciate your fans, every one of them, right?
Yeah.
But what's the worry that they're not going to understand that you're trying something new or getting better? They're going to, is there an anxiety that you're afraid that if you do a little bit what appears to be a little bit less, they're gonna misinterpret it and think you're shortchanging them, and then I
Yes.
can't do that?
Yeah.
Is it any of it that a self-doubt that you're projecting, or no? Where it's like, I shouldn't be doing this, I should be spending more time? Because you talked about that a little bit
Yeah,
before.
no, definitely. Well, I just, it's, and this is actually something that I think is less common in female artists, but I still seem to have this, is that, like, yeah, there's two different components to art, right? There's conveying emotion, and there's impressing people, you know? And it's hard to do both. Most people have one or the other that they emphasize. So a lot of times people will get into detail to the detriment of the emotion.
Mhm.
But it's so nice to impress people. It's so easy to impress people. You just draw more details and you make everything perfect so that it's beyond reproach. And they can go, oh, that looks really hard. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of a slave to that myself. Like, it actually took me years and years before I even really learned how to draw, because all I would do is copy. I wouldn't come up with things out of my own head because I was super good at copying. So every single time that I would draw, like, a photorealistic face, I could display it somewhere and have everybody go, oh, but then I draw something out of my own head and it looks like a 13-year-old drew it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get kind of addicted to impressing people.
You say it's hard. You say as an artist you have to do one or the other, but a reader, and how many comics I've read, so many comics, right? I don't know, and and obviously I work in comics, so I'm more exposed than maybe the average fan. But even when I was younger, you appreciate all different kinds of things. I think certainly you have people who just like superhero, this, that, the other thing, but I think tastes can be so broad, and it's like you can look at Barry Smith's stuff and say, "Oh, that's so beautiful," and Sergio Aragonés's stuff and say, "Oh, that's so funny." But you could, I don't know. You also see all the humor that Barry Smith tries to put in this stuff, and there is an immense beauty to Sergio Aragonés's stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not, are they one or the other?
But Sergio Aragonés is impressive because he draws lots of details.
No, he's impressive because stuff's a laugh. You know what I mean? It's
No, but that's, I guess I don't define that in this realm as
I'm trying to
impressive.
Yeah, but you're worried. You have this anxiety about fans. It's like, I don't think I'm more impressed by the amount of work Bernie Wrightson puts into his new Frankenstein pages than I am of Cliff Chiang doing something fun in Wonder Woman. You know what I mean?
But what if...
And I love them both.
But what if Bernie Wrightson started to draw more like Cliff Chiang? That's where it gets hard.
Well, you develop... Well, I don't know. Everyone's entitled to change their style, I suppose.
Everybody is. Yeah. But, like, when you go in to see Bernie Wrightson because he does all these details... Suddenly you're like, well, I guess you don't care anymore because you've changed your style or something. There's that.
No, concern. I think it's safe to say that I wouldn't feel that way, but
no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
And yeah, like, people with a lot of taste.
But they just might hate you because you're not on Batwoman anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you worried about?
I shouldn't actually be worried at all because now that I'm doing everything myself, it's actually a lot more, like, quote unquote impressive in that category because I'm able to do more details. You know what I mean? So it's already like shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, you certainly don't overdo stuff. I'll see panels. I'm like, well, Amy, why are you putting all this background in? Because there's a lot of dialogue and it's going to get separated out anyway. The only thing I think you actually overdo, and I've said this before, so it's not an ambush. I think you overdo it with color sometimes. Like, you're putting too much work in the color, too many effects on the color.
Yeah, sometimes.
To the detriment of the piece. And I know at the end of the day, your instincts are a lot better than mine.
No, I agree, though.
Right, but I wonder if that has anything to do with that being the least amount of experience you have is in colors.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But I have the least amount of experience, but the most innate knowledge in color. So I know, like exactly where shadows will fall. Like I have a very good sense of 3D.
You're a savant, but
When
you're
it
also
comes,
an idiot.
Yeah. Like it's hard for me to start a sketch, but I've always been good at shading. Like with the photorealistic faces, all that is shade in a way. You know what I mean? All it is values. So I'm good at that sort of thing. But because I'm good at it, I don't understand, like I don't see things simply first.
You
I
don't
see
see
like what the reality of it is, and I try and get it
not
to be like that.
yeah, you not the representation.
Yeah, and I also don't know when something looks finished, and I really worry about making it look finished. And so the only way I know to do that is this own system that I've created that makes me think, okay, yes, that's finished, which is basically doing a cell shading kind of effect, and then doing gradations on the backgrounds, and then doing a little bit of like the dodge tool, which does like highlights, and that's it. But it's a lot of work to do all that on every object, and there's all these people who don't do that. And I what I really need to do is start looking at colors for the sake of looking at colors, which I don't really do. So I don't really understand how other people do it.
You take a long time on the colors.
I take too long, so I gotta figure that out. But you know, thinking also about trying to get help for part of it, you know, where like they'll start it and I'll finish it, and then that
More
way.
than just flats. We're talking about the color.
Yeah, like, but it's hard. It's hard because
It used to be just for people to know, separate. It's literally color separations, right? That's sometimes where it's just you have to go and select everything, every piece that's going to be a different color.
yeah, almost
Is it-
every colorist has a flatter
Right.
who puts all those separations there. That way, you're not spending time just doing busy work.
Right, but you're saying let them not just do separations, but also, which is also called flats, right?
Yeah.
But also color it, but then you get to go in and
I was thinking maybe I should do all the figure work and then let them do the backgrounds, and then I can look at it and make changes.
we'll see. It
But
won't
for
be for
now,
the
I'm
first.
just-
Yeah, it won't be for the first
for
couple
now,
of
I'm just
issues.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I gotta learn, and also, you know, what's also taking me a ton of time with colors is deciding on which colors are gonna be where, and I think and I come up with new colors all the time, whereas I think colorists usually have already set templates. You know, like.
What is a new color that AmyReeder invented?
No, it's not that I invented a color, but they have like different scenes have different set colors that they can pick from. And I don't have that, but I also don't, like, I feel like a lot of them just look at what everybody else
you
does,
have
and that's how they come up with their templates.
Do you
know?
have a proprietary interest in purple?
Me?
Yeah. Did you create purple?
Whatever. You're so cool. No. I'm just saying, like,
How do you say purple in Korean?
everybody's got.
How do you say purple in Korean? Go.
Oh, ooh. Was it Jajusek?
How would I know?
I can't remember.
We had a book of colors in Korean today.
Yeah. For Ryan's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. His wife is Korean American, so I guess her parents got Violet, so Violet's grandparents gave her a book.
Amy took a lot of Korean in college.
A lot meaning like 3 semesters. Yeah.
It's a fair amount.
I don't even know it. I just know how to pronounce it.
One of the cool things about Image, which we totally didn't talk about,
Okay.
is translations. That's something we're kind of excited about.
Yeah.
Like, you can control whatever you want. So we're thinking, we really want to do, and as close to simultaneous as the English,
Yeah.
translations into different languages. So we're trying to figure out, like
Maybe in Korean.
like who we know and who can do it.
Yeah. I wanted in Norwegian too, but it's a little bit selfish because it's basically because I want the Norwegians to invite me to their convention.
Yeah, you missed it, I think.
Well,
This year.
next year, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Norway. I went there one summer. So I would very much like to get my friends to put it in Norwegian.
Would you like to say anything to our Norwegian listeners in Norwegian?
No, I'm shy. They understand that because Norwegians are shy. So they'll accept that.
But say that in Norwegian.
Oh, I don't know that I know the word shy, actually.
What do you know? Say something in Norwegian.
I think in German, is it Schusten? I don't know.
No, we won't be publishing in German.
Yeah? No?
Actually, German has a pretty decent, they have a nice comic scene.
Also, Germans love manga, so if they might accept my style over there.
Yeah.
Same with Hungarians. No, I don't know. I would say ha det bra, which just means see you later, but it also means have it good.
Have what good?
I don't know. That's just how they say see you later.
I bet it means something else, and they just told you it means see you later. I bet it really
no, I
means.
know every.
I bet it really means have it good.
How would I not know the word have or it or good? How do I not know those words?
Because I'm saying have it good. As a saying in Norwegian doesn't mean goodbye.
Why is it that they tell each other ha det bra?
Just to fuck with you.
Oh. Maybe bra means bra there. And they just like, she said bra.
Bra like brother?
Bra means good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you say goodbye in Korean?
What? Why don't I know that?
3 semesters and you don't know how to say goodbye. What grades did you get in those 3 semesters?
I mean, there's all these ways to say
what was your grade?
Hello and
what was your grade in Korean 101?
여보세요, 안녕하세요, 어서 오세요. Those are all like kind of greetings.
I'm giving you a grade right now. It's F.
What is it? What is it? I don't know. I know. But you know what's funny is I was good at Korean class because I can learn. I'm good at classes for languages.
How do you say in Spanish? This podcast was brought to you by Chris Robinson.
I don't
at
know
Chris
Spanish.
Robinson is his Twitter handle.
I don't know Spanish.
At BMontclare is where you can find me.
And at AmyReeder is where you can find me.
Only in English, very bad Korean, and very shy Norwegian.
All right.
Adios!
Amigos!